You're live on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Evans Mensah, and this is Ghana Connect. Now, this week we learned that a scholarship meant for the needy has been given to politicians and some politically connected individuals. There's been widespread outrage at the revelations that some members of parliament got thousands of dollars from the needy, but brilliant scholarship meant to really deserving students to fund their schools abroad when they wanted to, when countless number of their constituents remain unable to access tertiary education because of lack of funds. Yes, there was outrage among ordinary Ghanaians, I must emphasize, but there was also a strong defense mounted by the politicians themselves. Listen to this exchange I had with Majority Leader Evans Mensah on the issue. I pressed him on the moral question of members of parliament who spent thousands of cedis to get elected and then claim to be needy, hence qualify for the Get Fund scholarship meant for the needy by the brilliant Ghanaian.
I think that MPs are well endowed. I'll suggest to you that it's not like that at all.
But they are not needy. Under the laws that govern the Get Fund.
What is needy?
It's needy is needy. Your constituents who
what is needy?
Who you fund
if somebody wants to continue his education, right, at a particular time, he or she cannot provide the funding himself for that enterprise.
Member of Parliament.
No, I'm saying. Member of Parliament. You think that if maybe the person has to pay about $10,000 for one term, the member of Parliament can afford that?
Should be able to afford that.
You don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. Honestly, you don't know what you're talking about. You are one of those people who think that the MPs are very well resourced.
No, but there's opportunity cost. That 10,000 CD to $10,000 to the MP means 10,000 CD less for somebody in his constituency who really, really needs that money.
Well, that's why I asked the question. What is needy? Right?
Should there be any circumstance where member of parliament should benefit from a state scholarship that is defined in the law as for the needy?
It's if at that critical point, the member can be classified as needy. At that critical point.
Can that ever happen, that a member of parliament can be classified as needy?
Why not?
So that is Evans Mensah's defense. Do you agree with that defense? I would seek your views on that shortly here on Ghana Connect. So we are asking a fundamental question, and there's a post by H. Kwesi Prempa Gets that poses this question in a different way. But we ask, can you ever make it big in Ghana and lay any proper claim to the national cake without partisan political connections or being a politician yourself? Connecting with me on the telephone line right now is Benjamin, not his real name. He's a Ghanaian student on a Get Fund scholarship in the UK. He connects with us on the phone. Hello, Ben. Hello, Ben. Hello, Benjamin. Hi, Benjamin.
Hello.
Hi, Benjamin. Thanks for connecting. Grateful that you could join us. How is the weather like in the UK tonight?
Oh, everything's fine. We are just managing with the weather.
Well, fantastic. Grateful that you could join us. Christopher, ATLM is a student of the Ghana Telecom University. Christopher had to defer his academic year because he couldn't pay his fees. We'll hear his story. Hello, Christopher.
Yeah, hi.
Great, Christopher. Thanks for connecting with us here on Ghana. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir.
Okay. Isaac Nyamiche Boache, popularly known as BNI, on the KNUST campus, is a former SRC president, graduate student, social commentator, a talk show host at the campus-based Focus FM and Ultimate FM in Kumasi, who connects on the phone as well. Nana Kofi Akwa is a good friend of ours on the show, and will also join us via Skype shortly. He's an international award-winning photojournalist and a pastor. Adepa is a level 400 student at the University of Ghana. He's a member of the Debate Society. Hello, Adepa.
Hello.
Yeah, the last time you were here, you were on fire. Great to have you join us.
Thank you.
We'll speak to a few, one member of parliament and one other who is seeking to go into the House. But most importantly, wherever you are tonight, I want to hear from you. This is your show. This is a conversation that you've been having already on social media. So get in touch. This is how.
Join us now on Twitter, #Ghana Connect Live, Facebook, Joy 99.7 FM, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437, and we will call you back. Join the nation's biggest conversation now and connect to authority.
That's how you get in touch. 0244-340-437. That's the WhatsApp line you can get in touch with. I've seen that live here on my big screen. I'll be sharing a lot with you as we progress. #Ghana Connect Live. Or you can just simply, hit me up at Nwete. It's on Twitter, and I'll share it with the rest of the world as well. I want to start by reading out this post that I found this week on Facebook by the boss of the Center for Democratic Development, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh. He'd written a piece about this that I thought was pretty interesting. I want to start with that. I want to bear with me and you understand why I had to read it. That is how he interpreted what was unfolding this past week. Here goes. He says, "Are you too a Ghanaian?" And I guess that's the title of the post that he made on Facebook. I'm reading. "You have never profited directly or indirectly from a government contract, concession, tax exemption, debt write-off, or business or personal loan. Neither you nor any member of your family has ever been sold or allocated one of those auction cars or a government plot. You funded or are funding your entire graduate education and that of your family through your own resources, savings and loans, and resourcefulness, into bracket private scholarships. You've never gotten a public job, educational opportunity, or scholarship for yourself or any member of your family through protocol, even though, like me, you too can boast quite a few qualified unemployed graduates in the family. As for Get Fund or scholarship secretariat money for you or a member of your family, forget it. Who is going to get it for you? For someone like you or your kin, when you don't come from privilege or have neither a political godfather nor a political godmother. When you get into trouble with the law or are unfairly railroaded to, you can't count on family or friends or any intermediary in high places to get you off or get you justice. And then you must put up every day with road abuse from the seemingly countless autocrats who drive one of those taxpayer-funded cars that are apparently not supposed to obey traffic rules of any kind. So what exactly makes you feel Ghanaian? Because you eat fufu or TZ? Or is it because you vote enthusiastically once every 4 years to decide who to make rich at your expense the next 4 years? Or perhaps you are a taxpayer paying your due for the privilege of breathing the air along the Kwame Nkrumah motorway or driving for hours on end on a life-threatening road to your hometown. Charlie, looks like me, you and your family have really gotten the short end of the stick, generation after generation. Time to sponsor some family members and cronies to enter politics and get into public office by any means necessary. So we too can jay our share of this Oman, feed off the long-suffering people, and feel and act pompously Ghanaian and entitled. Come to think of it, even if you try to enter politics, the self-appointed gatekeepers of power may not allow you to pick nomination forms. Access denied. Wither your Ghanaian dream. That's H. Kwesi Prempeh. Put up on Facebook today. Adepa, do you agree?
To an extent, I do. it's just marvelous how after almost, no, in fact, more than 6 decades, we still find ourselves here as a country that we now have justification and given categories when it comes to who is the needy. How exactly, then the cliche of protecting the future generation, we need to invest into them, we need to give them all that they need because they'll be managing the affairs of the state. But then here's a case where a fund that is supposed to protect and provide for people that don't have access to financial support to see themselves through school is now being used to fund politicians and parliamentarians. I mean, it's really embarrassing. And if our leaders can come out and defend this and justify the definition of who a needy person is, then it's really shameful. I don't know where.
What's your story? You are in level 400.
Yes, I'm in level 400.
Who is paying your fees?
My mom. My mom pounds banku and needs she pounds fufu and needs banku to take me to school.
She pounds fufu.
Yes, she runs a very small fast food business to take me to school. Yes.
So she's paying your fees with the revenue from the fufu and the banku.
Exactly. My dad passed, and so she's the only one taking care of me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a powerful story.
Exactly.
Have you attempted to apply for any government scholarship?
No, I haven't. She's taking care of me throughout.
You don't have any politically connected friends?
Please, no.
Oh, goodness.
I'm connected to God in this case.
Okay. So that's your story.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Christopher, what's your story? You are in which university is that?
Ghana Technology University College.
Okay. Yeah. And you have to defer your course?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
The thing is that I started a school by myself. I decided that I went to school. I'm from the northern region of Ghana.
Which part of the region?
The Tamale.
Okay.
From Gushegu district. And I started the school. When I came to Accra, I tried my best to do some work, and I accumulated some money to be able to study my education to further up to the tertiary level. And then after that, when I started, I was fortunate. They were saying there is a student loan fund. So I was glad to join out through that. And then from the first year of the level 100 and to the second year, it was a little bit good. And they got to a point that it delayed. So when it delayed, I did not have any other money. The only money I have was I also gathered myself and I was doing some business. I do grilling with chicken and then guinea fowl and then goat meat. And then that's what I was using to support myself in terms of my feeding and then my transportation. And then after that, when the loan delayed, and then through the harassment of the school too, they were saying, if you don't pay your school fees, you are not going to allow to write the exams. So I have to gather myself, and then I use all my capital to pay for the first, to be able to register. And then during the exams time, still the loan, they gave us a time that it was going to come by 1 month time. So after the 1 month too, it was not coming. So we were about to start the exams. And then from the first day to the second day, the loan did not come. So I was denied to write my paper. That was in my the level 300, my second semester. So because I was denied, I was praying that I could get the money. I couldn't get some. And then from the third day, I got the message that the loan has come. So I went in the morning. I was in hurry too. I went and withdrew this money, 1,000 cedis. I was rushing to go and settle the rest of the fees. And then unfortunately,
it was just 1,000 cedis?
Yeah, it was 1,300.
Cedis?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
And then I withdrew 1,000 to go and settle the balance. When I sat in the car, unfortunately for me too, some theft just sat by me before I realized. I entered the school ready to pay my fees and I couldn't get my money. And I was denied for the rest of the papers. I couldn't write, so I was allowed to write part and then left part. So when the school resumed and we came back, that was level 400 first semester. We were still awaiting that the loan could come. And then from then up to now, the loan did not come. My business capital too has gone, and I don't have any other way.
So you're out of school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, have you tried the Get Fund scholarship?
No, sir.
You should try. Let's see how it goes. Do you have, Adepa, why you seem not to have any hope or faith in the Get Fund scholarship?
It's going to go to politicians anyway.
Say that again loudly into the microphone.
It's going to go to politicians anyway, because the truth is, even if opportunities avail in this country, is who knows you. So even if it's meant to be accessed by the ordinary Ghanaian, it's still who you know within that institution. So even if it's for every Ghanaian, given that we are all taxpayers, I don't think it's accessible to all like they make us believe.
I see. But do you want to try and apply?
Yeah, from my one of my friends to Mr. Boniface is one of my fellow students at GTD. He tried that for several times. He just send the letter and then they are not ready to give it up.
I see.
And
so he's tried several. And this person, from what you've described, you're really properly defined as a needy person. That's what we hear in the scholarship law itself says.
Yeah.
And yet you say that you don't feel confident that if you apply you get, because somebody, your colleagues in your same position have done so and have been turned down.
Yeah.
So when this week you heard that a few politician members of parliament have secured Get Fund scholarship thousands of dollars to go to the school in the US, how do you feel about it, knowing what you're going through right now?
Yeah. From that I realized, in fact, I don't know, from my mind, I thought the politicians, they are there to help us to let the nation go at peace, and then to also let us all enjoy the national cake. So if there's any opportunity and then they deny us trying to do it by their own way, now I am like, it's gotten to a point that we are now going to justify that. It's like, if you are voted into maybe a position, or you become a president or an MP, it's just that people are doing it for their family or for their own sake. When you come out for your issues, like, you are out, no one denies. So we realize that these people, I don't know, maybe if they should come out and tell us the reason why that is happening or what is happening at the background.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac has just joined us. Isaac will share his thoughts with me, but Nana Kufiakwa is connected. Hello, Nana.
Hello, Evans. How are you?
Charlie, been a long time, man. Where have you been?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Happy. Are you in this? Are you in this great country called Ghana?
I am, man. I am.
Okay. I use great country called Ghana, and H. Kwesi Prempeh writes a very interesting piece, and which I read earlier. It says, "Are you too a Ghanaian?" And he goes on to enumerate, several instances that he believes, doesn't qualify many of us as true Ghanaians, because you're not benefiting really properly, in the true sense of the word, from the national cake. Do you share his thoughts there?
I totally agree with him. But I feel that the solution to this is when, how it is very easy to speak against wrong when it affects you. But when you benefit from it, and this is the culture we have to address. When you benefit from wrong, that is the best time to speak against it. So most of us who are today complaining are complaining because we didn't get to benefit from the Get Fund scholarship. But these same people, when they were, they are in parliament, they are not qualified. They haven't even applied for these positions. And then the fund is made available for them. So according to the report, some actually get access to the money before they find a program to attend. That is totally wrong. But as a nation, until we stop this thing where we only speak sense when we are in opposition or when we are disenfranchised, until we stop that, we are not going to move forward. Because of this, some of us always sound like we are in opposition. Because every government that comes, you seem to be having issues. But let's be very, very honest, Even if you benefited from this, you know that there are people who are more needy than you are. So what kind of conscience do you have? You are educated, you are in parliament, and you take huge money to attend some 2 weeks program, whatever program in Harvard. You're already in parliament and right in your district. And the funny thing is not as if our parliamentarians are not aware of the levels of poverty in this country. When they are campaigning for position, they speak to these people. They speak to the Banku seller's daughter. They speak to the boy from the north. They are very, very much aware of the levels of poverty and how huge inequality is in this nation. They are aware, but when wrong benefits us, we keep quiet. This whole, there's a lot that is going on that is wrong, but people only speak against it when they are in opposition. No, but when they are in power, they don't, because it benefits them.
Yeah, I mean, but why? I mean, like, but that's the thing, right? I mean, from if you read education sarcastically, that is when you become a true Ghanaian, when you actually begin now to benefit directly because of your connections politically. So once I am okay, there's no incentive to complain.
Yeah, I understand that, but then you should know that tomorrow it will affect your children. You know, if listen, there's a principle. There is a principle God designed and sowed into creation. It's a very ancient principle. It says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will never cease. You know, so when people think they are cheating the system, or they're exploiting the system because it is their turn, they are now in power, they're only cheating themselves. When a child who is not qualified, when a student who is not qualified is the one who makes it into medical school, there will be the doctor that will look at you, that will treat you in your old age. You know, when the person conducting the driving exams, you know, will take the bribe and look away, you know, this person will drive his ambulance when he's in a crisis and needs help. And when we understand this bigger principle of life, it's a very small principle, but when we understand that, we realize that there is no point in building a nation by robbing the poor of opportunities. You know, some of these amounts that was wasted on these people in the name of scholarship could have funded 10 needy children in a community.
Yeah, I mean, I just asked Christopher's school fees, for which reason he's had to defer a course, was 1,000. What did you say again?
No, 1,300.
1,300 CDs.
Yeah.
You know. So I guess it makes a point.
It said that the loan was the student loan was 1,300.
Yes.
But
It's based on everyone. It's based on how they understand it.
But that's how much you got? 1,300 CDs.
Yeah, that's what I used to get.
Okay. Yeah. Nana.
But think about that. This 1,300. Show me a parliamentarian who cannot spend that over lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch, not dinner, just lunch.
Yeah.
They would easily do that. This is less than $300. A bottle of Moe is more expensive than that, you know. And so this insensitivity. I mean, look, Charlie, this country. Sometimes when you talk, but we have to really wake up. We are not cheating anybody. When we do these things, we think we are looting and we are stealing and we are being smart. It will come and bite us. You know? Well,
I mean, I'd like to explore that a bit more about coming to bite us. And explore that in what form? Because it appears this cycle continues because there are no consequences to this. They get re-elected, the people who, and I think H.K. makes a quite solid point that we vote for them, we decide. I need to read it. Or is it because you vote enthusiastically once every 4 years to decide who to make rich at your expense the next 4 years? Every 4 years we'll go back, decide who to make rich, because there isn't no consequence there. Isn't that part of the problem?
There is. You see, sometimes when we talk about consequences, because as a culture we are very short-term minded, we are very myopic. Forgive me for saying this, but this is the truth. When the typical, you know, I've sat in the European Parliament with European parliamentarians, and if you hear what they have to say about Ghanaian politicians, it's pathetic, you know. But they wouldn't know that, because when they meet you, they speak they give you this fake respect and all that. But they look at you and they know that you're a sellout, you know. So, and this is one of the consequences. So it doesn't matter how much they lose. They never. I mean, when they leave the small corner where they are a hero and they step out there, nobody respects them, you know. Even when they work hard for something nice, everybody assumes it is stolen money.
Yeah. I mean, Kofi, just a second. I have Isaac here who wants to say something to what you just said.
So okay. I think, I mean, I get the outrage. I mean, everybody's disgusted. This country, the easiest way to be disgusted about something is when politicians are the ones whose names are mentioned. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people that are benefiting from all these scholarships.
No, you're so right. Because even this scholarship, they mentioned journalists, they mentioned academics.
Yeah, but nobody's focusing on them. And so for me, the one big problem we have in this country is actually the middle class, because the middle class are the ones that, aside the politicians, are the ones whose kids get these notes from the politicians, who get to attend the schools, and a lot of things that happen. Because when it comes to the idea of scholarship, no matter what happens, somebody will always be left behind, because there can be people who are equally needy, but somebody would have to be picked out of the lot, even though they are all equally needy. They are all equally brilliant.
I think people don't have a problem with that. So for us, it's merited.
But who are you to say people who have the same level of need and same level of brilliance don't merit something? So that's what happens when the scholarship secretary.
Nana has an interjection. Nana, yes.
Isaac, don't get too hypothetical. You just heard the Banku seller's daughter's story. You just heard this young man who couldn't afford 1,000 CDs. Are you telling me that he's not much needier than the people you saw on the list? Let's not get.
But I get that it's really like comparing apples and oranges, because he is.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay, Isaac, listen.
Okay.
If somebody's whole life dream of achieving a university degree, this is the reason why he left the North. This is why he left his family. This is his whole life dream, can be hijacked because of 1,000 Ghana cedis. I mean, how on earth can you come and sit on radio and even try to justify that? That's unfortunate. Listen, that young man's whole life dream, for which he left his hometown, learning with lanterns and bobo and all that, for years, was hijacked because of 1,000 Ghana cedis. That should make you cry when you hear it as a Ghanaian. Don't come and sit on radio and sound don't throw hypothetical. These are serious issues. And when inequality is not checked, that is when the poor get hungry and there's nothing to eat, they will eat the rich.
I think the easiest thing to do in this debate is to court public sympathy with the stories, because there are also people who didn't even get the opportunity to pay transportation to go to school at all. So there are levels of need, no matter how we look at it. Even these figures we are mentioning, $30,000 and all that, they are not small money.
Nana has a question for you. Nana, you're asking a question?
Does that make it okay? If poverty is familiar,
does not make it okay. So that comes to the point we want to make. That we don't have standards in this country. Scholarship Secretariat gives out scholarships to people. Nobody requests for the tax records of the family of the people getting the scholarship. You would ask him the process he went through to get the scholarship trust fund. Did anybody take his family's tax records? Did anybody find out any background information on how the family works and everything? Because those are the basis to determine how needy someone is. So if you don't present all those documents, even though we have to assume you are needy and you are poor, there's really no difference.
Give me a second. I'll bring you back in.
To do that. So, for example, the program Napo went to read, that same program can be read at the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center. Do you get it? What that should tell you? Strategy when it comes to scholarship in this country, because people are getting scholarships to read programs that are being read by universities in Ghana at far cheaper rates. But does the Scholarship Secretariat care about that? No.
Okay, so you raised a very important point. I want to bring in Benjamin, who is a Get Funds scholar in the UK. Hello, Benjamin.
Yeah, hello.
Benjamin, thanks for connecting once more. I don't know if you heard the last bit that Isaac the point he was making. That there are courses, Isaac, you're making the point about courses in Ghana that, again, you can...
Hello?
Can you hear me, Isaac? Benjamin?
Yeah, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making the point about... I'm just putting the point Isaac was making to you, because you are in the UK on a Get Fund scholarship. His point is that there are programs in Ghana you can study for far less. And again, we've heard the Auditor General say the Get Fund is for scholarship to study in Ghanaian schools and Ghanaian schools only, right? So, for example, which course are you reading in the UK?
Okay, so the line was cutting was not really clear, but if I get you right, you're asking which school am I in?
No, which course are you reading in the UK? Which course are you reading in the UK?
Yeah, I'm doing peace studies and international development.
Okay, so political science and international development.
Yeah.
Okay, so Isaac, your point to that is what?
But the point is that these programs are still being read in the country. Of course, different institutions offer different experiences and all that. But if we want to compare who should be funded between programs that are being read in this country and between programs that are not being read here, we should always be prioritizing programs that are not being read here.
As in programs you can't find.
In Ghana.
So if you're going by your argument, and Auditor General agrees with you, then Benjamin should not have received the scholarship.
Yes, he shouldn't be receiving the scholarship, but nobody would complain about this, because he's not a politician, and most likely he's part of the middle class that is benefiting from the political elites and connections. So that feeds into the point that when people are connected, they all get these benefits, and my brother here, who is not connected, struggles to get 1,000 cedis.
Okay, but then you're agreeing with Nana Kofi Akwa then. The point was making to you about that, because he is not connected. The connected guy will get it, although probably he is far more qualified than him. But let me bring in Benjamin. Benjamin, what's your reaction to that assertion that Isaac makes? And this week we've heard that argument as this particular debate has unfolded.
Please, if you could reiterate the point he made.
Okay, sorry. I mean, we'll try and reconnect with you because of the challenge with the line. But Adepa.
So on the issue about lack of standards in being able to discern or selecting people that actually need it, I think that's a failure on the side of the trustees that are in charge of the fund. Because if you say that there are standards to assess based on merits who deserves to access that scholarship, and then you give that fund to a politician who has enjoyed allowances, salaries, and
that's one point I want us to really look at. I'm sorry because we have a debate raging in this country, and it has raged for more than a decade. Article 71 holders, the kind of access to funds they get, the ex gratia they get, and all those things. Those are things we want to reduce. Those are things we want to say a teacher retires and gets pension of about 22,000 cedis, and then a politician serves as MP 4 years and gets over 300,000 cedis. We can't be against the Article 1 emoluments and then say that these people have money and so then they are not needy. We should, because this will be their justification.
You're saying that you agree with Evans Mensah when he argues that there are members of parliament who can qualify as needy and therefore can deserve the scholarship to travel.
As long as we keep on placing that pressure on them to
be able to
sponsor things.
You mean
as the citizens?
Okay, Adepa.
For me, I don't agree, because I think being in service means that you're supposed to at least avail these opportunities to those who actually need it, because these people have been educated, and if they want to access extra education, I think it's not something that we should spend a lot of Ghanaian cedis on just to educate them in expensive schools. Like this man's story here, I don't think he wanted to go to the UK to study or anything like that. He couldn't access 1,000 Ghana cedis to educate himself. So I get the argument about how I get the argument about how politicians can't be needy, but then politicians are put in a position to serve the people. So I think even if they were needy, or even if they needed to access higher education, priority should be placed on those who actually need the funds to access those that kind of education. So on the issue about it's being about politicians and we attacking them, I don't think this is just an attack. Look at the duration of the study. Look at the amount of money that is being spent on such courses, some of the courses which could have been studied here in this country that they should be accessing. Then I think it's a problem. So on the issue of that,
so
just a second. I also want to bring in Bernard Radio. Hello, Bernard.
Hi, Ivan.
Hi, Bernard is an aspiring member of parliament for Akwitia.
Yes, Ivan. The fire is on fire.
Yeah, the fire is on fire. And I didn't know that you were an aspiring member of parliament until my producer told me you were.
Oh, Ivan, I would have come over to inform you personally.
Oh, well, you're informing the world now. But I need to ask you the hard question, though, because on the back of this conversation, let me first ask, why do you really, because you're a lawyer, I mean, you've young man who've done a lot in the industry, right? Why do you want to go to parliament? What really is your motivation?
Well, first and foremost, providing legal service is something that has to do with service to our people. And I see political office as the same thing. I mean, to serve my people, to serve Ghanaians.
So that is the reaction that we got. There's a laughter in the studio. I don't know whether you heard it. I
heard it, but that is the truth, because you see, the point is that I see probably the office of Parliament from three perspectives: an MP as a lawmaker, an MP as an advocate, and an MP as an agent for development. And I believe that, I mean, with these concepts and with the sort of aspirations and the sort of ideas I have for my people, I should be there as well.
Okay. So there are two people in the studio. One believes you that you genuinely want to serve. The other does not. Nana, I don't know where you stand on that question. When you hear politicians say they really want to go into public service to serve, but let me ask you first, Adepa, you don't believe that he genuinely goes into Parliament? Adepa, you don't believe?
It's not that I don't believe him per se. I think we've gotten used to the cliche of I want to serve the people, because after every 4 years, you see them moving into rural areas. They've refused to fix those roads just to campaign in those areas. So on the issue of service, I think the country, after almost, in fact, more than 6 decades, can judge on what service means in this country. So I think since we want people to still serve, we can still give them the benefit.
So you're saying that after all these years, now when you hear politicians say I want to serve, you don't?
Actually don't buy it. Even on campus, student politics, I don't buy it.
Okay. Yes, Bernard, you have a comeback.
I mean, Parliament is a creation of law. We need to have people there to at least do what parliamentarians are supposed to do. So if we say that the main motivation is to serve our people, we are justified because the work of Parliament is service to the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
And about the scholarship bit, I mean, I have a perspective.
No, I'll come to the scholarship bit shortly, your thoughts on this. But Isaac, you believe when he says he's going to serve?
Yeah, because, you see, and again, like, just listening to what Adepa is saying, we tend to focus on negative attitude or negative things in this country instead of praising people who are doing positive things. So, for example, we have MPs who are engaging with their constituents, MPs who are not missing parliamentary sessions, MPs who are serving well on subcommittees. Nobody praises these MPs. Nobody says that these are MPs that are doing a good job. But Kennedy Ejapon misses sessions, and he's the one that everybody focuses on. Student leaders, some go to embezzle funds, and they are the ones that are focused on. Nobody mentions all the other student leaders who are doing good. So it's the same mentality Adepa is using and everybody talks about, and I think it's the easiest thing to do. That's why in debates you have to always talk about context.
Some call it politician bashing.
It's the cheapest thing to do in this country. But when an issue comes up, everybody focuses on politicians, forgets about all the civil servants who are doing all the wrong things and have been in these institutions for years.
Bernard, I'll come to you substantively shortly, but let me hear from Kofi.
Yes, Evan. So I don't know why Isaac is upset that Adepa is cynical. You see, there's something about life. If you come to a farm and I've just planted my seeds, we can have a big debate about what I've planted. But when it comes to harvest season, fruits don't lie. If people are cynical about politicians, it is because the evidence doesn't lie. So if there is a problem, it is not because the people are cynical. I remember when the late President Atamil, there was some story and somebody was trying to assert that the man was corrupt, and at the time the opposition came out and said, even they, the opposition, if anybody comes to them and tells them that this man is corrupt, they won't believe it. It is very, very possible to be a politician and be clean, but they are so rare that after me mentioning Atamil, if I were to ask Isaac, name any 3 politicians you know who beyond every reasonable doubt are not corrupt. It's difficult. Every name he mentions, it will be a debate. Every name he mentions. So if Adepa is cynical, it is because we've seen people we were in school with, in university, take the politics route, and now they have B.A.s and properties here, and they live large and all that. All they did was to become politicians. In terms of life work, life experience, they just politicians. This is the quickest path. I mean, apart from Sakawa or 419, the easiest way to become rich in Ghana is to become a politician. Is Isaac saying he's not aware of that?
Isaac,
there's an even bigger question we need to ask in this country. We need to ask ourselves, because if we want to get to this whole thing about corruption and politicians and all this, if we want to get to the bottom, we have to ask ourselves honestly, how much does it cost for somebody to become president of Ghana? How much does it cost in real terms for somebody to become an MP? How much does it cost for somebody to become an assemblyman? Because we see them giving out bags of rice, we see them giving out T-shirts, we see them giving out all these, and when they come and there is, all these funny things are happening, and we are like, okay, so where is the money going? And all these underhandedness, when we see them happening, are we surprised after we took the sacks of rice and the T-shirts that we didn't work for, after they brought it, are we surprised we have to recoup and make interest?
Well, you asked a fundamental question. Oh, hold on for me, Isaac. Let me go to Bernard. Bernard.
Yes, Ivan. Yes, listening to the guy from Ghana Telecom University, and I want to ask him, has he always been aware of the existence of probably a scholarship scheme for students? And I ask this because I use myself as an example. I schooled in the village in Achimkusi. I never knew. I was raised by my mom and my grandma. There was an uncle who came from Accra. When he saw my JSS result and told my mother that, with this performance, this guy can qualify for a CMB scholarship. My mother never knew of a CMB scholarship. My grandmom never knew of a CMB scholarship. So he took my certificate. I don't know what he did with it. I went to meet some people and I got CMB scholarship. So through my entire education at Achimota School, I was on CMB scholarship. So most people are complaining now because they are hearing people are having access to these scholarships and all that. But truthfully, they may not be aware of existence of such scholarship schemes to help them. So that is why I'm asking, has he always been aware that there is this scheme to help him, or it was later, or was an afterthought, or now that the whole idea of scholarship issues are coming up, he just wants to wade into the whole idea and at least maybe draw some sympathy for himself? Because some people are not even aware that such schemes are there to support them financially.
Okay, he has a response to that. Christopher.
Okay, as you are saying, the fact is that some of us have not knowledge about even some of the funds, because they will normally not publish it. You will not have any information before you realize other people are enjoying it. And sometimes when you come in, it's like, because he knew somebody and the person have to link them. And sometimes they have to even ask you. I have one of my friends who said that if you want me to link you to one of the politicians, the amount of money that he mentioned, in fact, even if I get that money, I can even complete my school. So I look at that line and I realize that even though some of the opportunities are there, but they will never mention it. They will never publish it. As
if you don't inquire, you wouldn't know.
You see, that's the problem. That if you don't inquire, you wouldn't know. There are pockets of information that are that are very limited, and people cannot get access to it. And see, to situate all the arguments I've been making, the point is that we have a class problem in this country. So you realize when it was time for free senior high school, there were a lot of middle class families that were saying it shouldn't be completely free, or it should be scholarship. We don't want double track. We can pay. These people who are not politicians, those who are making these arguments, they are not politicians. They are not even the wealthiest of people in this country. But there were people who were willing to throw the poorest of the poor under the bus because they don't want their kids to be part of a double track system. And so
see,
we can easily get angry.
Just a minute. The other issue is that we operate on
just a second, yes.
Like what the GTUC man is saying. He heard that you need to pay some money and all that. Sometimes the notions and the perceptions and the hearsays actually are the roadblocks. Because there are some people who will not even, like at the past said, that her mom is okay taking care of her, so she will not even try accessing the scholarship scheme, all because of all those stuff she's heard about them. But actually, it could so happen that you just step there, make a case for yourself, and you may have access to these scholarships. So what I would say is that we should search for the information. We should make the inquiries. We should visit the places. Because if you don't go, nobody will look for you and give you scholarship. Just because you are in need, or just because you cannot pay your school fees.
But Bernard, you realize that yes, now you are a politician, Some say, yeah, you can easily say that now because you now belong. You belong to the club.
No, Evans, you know, I didn't do that. Like I told you, I enjoyed CMB scholarship not because my grandmom or my mom had any information about CMB scholarship. It was because somebody saw my results and saw that I probably have done well and I should access such scholarship.
Yeah, Kofi.
Yeah. So what this gentleman is saying, if he would really listen to himself, he would realize that his situation is not very different from Christopher's. You know, because if that uncle of his,
I can hardly hear Kofi. Could he speak up a bit?
Yes, he hears. I mean, just see if he can hear me. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so if his uncle hadn't popped up, he wouldn't have ever known about scholarships, about the scholarship program. Yes. But this is the point. Anytime you hear these stories, when you listen to a Christopher and he tells you that he didn't know about these things, you should know that when it comes to defining what poverty is not the absence of money. What poverty is a denial of access. So, you see, those of you who studied abroad, you know, when you go to the website or you write to any school, when they send you a brochure, they add a link to potential scholarship opportunities. The school informs you that if you're looking for a scholarship, in case you can't afford to pay the fees and you may need a scholarship, try A, B, C, D, E. If you apply to Legon, if you apply to UCC, if you apply to any of these traditional universities, what effort do they put into pointing you towards potential scholarships? If you apply to an SHS or whatever and you're a needy child, what about the school's admission system points you coming from Bonre back somewhere behind Bonre? What is in the system that points you towards a potential scholarship? So these are systemic problems. And anytime you have a system that is designed that way, what it does inadvertently is that it keeps the poor poor. And this is why we have a widening gap of inequality in this nation. So once you have that opportunity, it is very, very easy to sit on radio and say that the people who were saying don't do double track system, they wanted to sabotage. If somebody comes and says that, listen, you have limited resources. This is a pure economics. You have limited resources. If you make it free, you'll be overly burdened. Don't make it free. Just design the system in such a way that those who truly need the scholarship, need the funding, can access the funding so that the burden will be less on you, so that the quality of education will not be compromised. If you're not wearing a politician's hat, you realize that it is actually very, very commonsensical. So they are telling you that instead of watering it down so everybody can drink some, no, take the ingredients you have and cook for those who need it. So that the quality of the
you have a point in there.
You have to understand that, listen, I for 2 years, I lobbied in the European Parliament when it was the Millennium Development Goals were up to 2015. And the main argument I made for the 2 years was that equality, because I did my first national service as a teacher, and I was teaching SHS 3 students who couldn't spell. And I'm like, if you are born in a village, grow up in a village, and you spend your time in a classroom, so you don't learn to farm, you don't learn to fish, you don't learn any of the traditional vocational skills because your parents think you are being educated. And at SHS 3, you can't write properly. What they've done is they prepared a half-baked cake. You are too proud to go back and farm. You feel you are educated, but you come to the city and there are no opportunities for you. And so if we really want to help our people, our number one focus on education shouldn't just be the canvassing so everybody goes to school, but strongly attached to everybody going to school is that the quality of education has to be high.
Yeah, I'll come to you back, but I want to hear from Adepa. Adepa has something to say.
So on Benjamin's submission about whether or not people are looking for these opportunities, the question we should be asking is, are these institutions visible enough in our country? How many people know that there's a large scholarship base that can afford to be accessible to a lot of people?
A cynical answer will be, it's visible, but you have to be connected to actually see.
That is the problem. So you can't just relax and say your uncle saw your results. So the direct agency was not even the institution itself, but somebody that knew about the scholarship.
Because again, what the Auditor General said in the report was that the Get Fund administrator was unilaterally awarding the scholarships. In fact, the Auditor General says the scholarship the Get Fund should have simply given funding to the Scholarship Secretariat, which it says the law said they should do. Then they will administer it using proper criteria. But the Get Fund was not doing that. Christopher, you had that intervention.
Yeah, and as you said, I also wanted to ask a question that, is it that we the citizens, let's say the less privileged people, have to come and seek for it, or is it or concerning the as a citizen?
Just a second, let him finish his question. I'll bring you in.
As citizens, is it? I believe that I think there's supposed to be a well display or defined that this is what is going on, because let's say, as even the Bible says that faith comes by hearing. So if I don't hear anything, even the false prophets are dragging people the moment they see a sign. So if I don't see any sign, I will be, in fact, I will not give up. And then concerning what I said from my friend, it was real that he went there several times and he himself was complaining. So
I didn't get.
Yeah, I didn't get.
Isaac, I'll come to you shortly, but Bernard wanted to answer that question. Bernard,
this gives us another angle. It means that the institutions, the schools, just like they do for the schools outside, should actually be the source of information for the students. At least the student should be able to access information anywhere on campus concerning scholarship schemes and financial assistance the very day he steps in school. Because like the Kofi or one of them.
Kofi, yeah.
Yes. So many schools out there, in fact, in their portals, they lead you as to the areas, the schemes of scholarship available for students. But if you have a student, let's say the GTU guy, who had to get to level 300 when he was financially constrained before he looked for scholarship, because from his background, as somebody who was going to fund education himself and the kind of job he was doing, there was no way he was financially sound to finish the entire degree. So he should have known right from the start that he's somebody who would, at the end of the day or somewhere at any point in time, would need financial assistance.
Yeah, Bernard, stay with me, Kofi as well. Let me quickly share a few of your messages coming through, and I'm receiving many on my own timelines there. Ernest is joining me, of course, to share what you were saying, but this one from Maximo Tata says, I am shocked to my bones about the gentleman in the studio who is happily defending the oppressors. I guess it's you, Isaac. I humbly recommend the book titled Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire for his leisure reading. You read a book? Okay, he says he's read a book. Yes, okay. Rasbo Barak is listening. He says MP, CEOs in public institutions and appointees have no business accessing Get Fund or other publicly funded scholarships. What has happened gives us a chance to overhaul the entire process of awarding scholarships funded, by the way, largely by the working class. Ernest.
Shadrach Ajay says, what a sad country. Myriad of tertiary students are deferring their courses because of delay in student loans, which are supposed to be funded by Get Fund. Politicians receive huge salaries with extravagant lifestyles, are snatching other opportunities meant for the poor and vulnerable people in the society. Students are suffering just to acquire education, but politicians seem to care about the well-being of seem not to care about the well-being of the needy and brilliant in the society. Gerald from 37 says, I'm very, very surprised. So the majority leader today is swerving the definition of needy. God will judge us. This one from Kumasi says, they go there to amass wealth. MP's performance at the constituency level should be measured. Another one here from Kumasi says, good evening, Evans. I feel sad about this Get Fund issue. I'm bleeding in my heart. Evans, can you imagine I deferred my course in level 300 in 2015 when I was in Kumasi Polytechnic and could not go back to school again?
Well,
David from
thank
Kumasi.
you for your thoughts. I'm going to go to the head of Maslog shortly, who was listening and wants to contribute, Stephen Amwa, aka Sticker. But I quickly want to ask one question and go around. Yes or no will do for me before I go. So, can you make it in Ghana, right, without political connection or being a partisan or being politically partisan? Yes or no?
I think you can, yes.
You can, yes or no?
I can't give an answer. There's no context. Like, we have to explain the answer.
Oh, can you make it in Ghana without political connection?
That's like my
yes
answer
will
have to come with context. I don't think I can.
So give me your answer and give me like quickly.
Okay, so I think that
you can.
We have a rigged system, and the system is rigged by politicians and the middle class. And so as it stands, you can't. Okay. Obviously, because it's rigged.
Can you make it or not?
I think you can make it only when, as he said, you know from the base. Then you start it by your own way.
Okay, Stephen Amwa, you connected. You wanted to input. I'm willing to hear. We have a few minutes to wrap up, so let's hear you. Hello, Stephen. Yes.
Evans, it's unfortunate I've just got a very little time, but I want to ask this question: if NDC MPP were to be liquid in a bowl, and then Ghanaians decide to pour all of us away and make the bar empty, and to fail those who are talking, those outside actively in political arena or whatever framework we're talking about, is Ghana going to be better the way they expect it or not? Is the system going to be the same? The fact of the matter is that, Evans, let's be honest, it's not about NDC and MPP issue alone. Of course, yes, politicians in Ghana, you can't say that apart from Sakawa, that's a big insult. Is it about the police? Is it about the media? Is it about the chieftaincy? Is it about the church? Is it about the mosque? Who? The problem is with us as a people. Culturally, we have a lot of issues that are inimical or dysfunctional to the performance of our republic. We should consider that. Two, Evans, do you know, a few years back, now I don't know, so I can't talk about it, and this is no NDC MPP issue. Even hedging, if the information I had was correct, Bank of Ghana had to depend on Barclays Bank. But hedging is part of finance. Don't we teach finance in Ghana? So I think sometimes we shouldn't just treat issues at the periphery or on the periphery. Sometimes I think people also display unconscious incompetence. They think they can say anything because it's about politics, NDC, MPP. Yes, politicians have issues. We have problems. Yes, it's true. But it's not every politician that is corrupt. That is not true. It's not every NDC man. It's not every MPP man or CPP man. Probably even the public. Sometimes we drive from Kumasi to Accra to Koforidua. What do you see on the road about the police? But you can't say all policemen are corrupt. Some media guys, they are very corrupt. Some MPP and NDC guys are very corrupt. So let us address the issue holistically as a nation, rather than behaving like. So right now, if we take John Mahama and Kufuor and all the active players from NDC MPP, a new set of Ghanaians occupy their positions, things will change. Is that what we mean? It's unfortunate we all don't have enough time to debate other people who think every politician is corrupt or made it because of. Look, some of us are working. Some are even doing far better work than somebody like me. If I tell you I own one of the largest palm plantations in a district in Ghana, will you believe it? Maybe you will not. So it's not every politician that is making it out of corruption. I don't believe that misconception.
Okay, that's stick there. He's of course Stephen Amma, you know him. He's the boss of Marshlock. But that's it for Ghana Connect, and there's so much more to talk on. Nana Kofi Akwa, thank you for connecting tonight. Always a pleasure hearing from you when you connect with us. Isaac, also, you've been a while since you've been here. And people are really, upset.
No, I mean,
but it's fine. I mean, I get it.
It's a contrarian view.
I get it.
I'll write on it.
It's a tough one to defend, but you did it brilliantly. I mean, that's the whole beauty of the show. You just agree to disagree. Just express your opinion. Adepa, you're on fire. And Christopher, I pray you get the scholarship. So don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. So thanks for connecting wherever you are tonight, and of course, up next is First Take with my man, the best commentator you can find anywhere in the world, George Ado Jr. George, what's up? What should people expect tonight?
Charlie, we are going to sit down and chat. Gary, look at Gary. He's come to talk. Muftar, we're going to have a chat about what's been happening in the week in the world of sports. So easy chat. Let's go. Let's do it. Coronavirus is sure.
One of the things I really want to talk about, if I have the opportunity, is Deontay Wilder's excuse for losing that bout. Says what he wore into the ring was too heavy on him. It's one of the most outrageous excuses for losing in a sports arena. But that's it for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.